Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been such a long time since I've done a video for you, but as you know, well, some of you might know I've been very sick recently, but I'm on the mend now, hopefully still not 100%, but well enough to make a video, so I thought why not. I've been getting very into sort of reading up on reading sort of in depth some of my role-playing game stuff, and I've been really enjoying getting back into that sort of part of the gaming hobby. And what I wanted to talk to you about is, and this is going to sound like a little bit of like a shameless plug, but I mean, I promise you I'm in no way associated with Paizo. But what I want to talk about is why I think that the Pathfinder Beginner Box, is possibly one of the best role-playing game products I've ever bought. Now, I've got lots of rule books and dice and all that kind of thing, and they're all super important. I also have the Pathfinder core book, which I bought as sort of the evolution from this. But I still keep coming back to this, and I want to tell you why. And there's a number of reasons. But obviously, as a beginner, there's definitely, in my opinion, no better way to get into the hobby than through this box. It really does give you everything that you need to get started, but in addition to that, it gives you a lot of stuff that you can use long after you've sort of evolved and moved on to the bigger, sort of more complex rule books. And it does this at a price point that just makes so much sense that I'd recommend that people who play Dungeons and Dragons, or obviously Pathfinder, any other role-playing games, especially fantasy role-playing games, it's actually worthwhile picking this up. Even if you have the core book and you're well into Pathfinder already, I still think that there's value in owning this. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why I think that. First point is this guy. A gigantic double-sided flip map. Now these flip mats are dry erase, so you can use them for your own campaigns and whatever. They're not set. I mean, there's a map on the back which ties into the campaign that's in the core box, which I'll talk to you about in a bit. But those cost a pretty penny on their own. I mean, I don't know internationally, but here in South Africa, you can get one of those for about half the price of this. So that's already like great value for money. And it's something that you can use forever and ever because they're erasable and that sort of thing. So after going through this, I went and I got the Pathfinder core book, and I was reading through it. And one of the things that, I mean, it's a very good book, but one of the things that disappointed me is that it lacked any kind of bestiary in the core rule book. I had lots of spells, lots of equipment, that kind of thing, but no beasties. And to really sort of do that, you'd need to buy the Pathfinder bestiary. And so what I was thinking, I was like, oh man, that's really disappointing. I kind of expected there to be something. And then I thought, come on man, you've got the box. So let's have a look. I printed out some character sheets that I keep in here, so that's not important. So I want to go through the books and tell you what value I think they add for sort of even your seasoned Pathfinder players. So this one, the Game Master's Guide, is the one I really want to refer to. Okay, but if I go through it here, in terms of reference, this has got great sort of reference sheets. So you can have this book out at the same time as your core rule book, because on the back here you've got your combat reference, which is great, easy to see. Conditions, it shows you all the different conditions, and this actually matches the artwork that Paizo have in that conditions deck of cards that you can sort of hand out conditions to players. So let's go through here, and I'll show you, and like it's all very easy to find what you're looking for here, because the core rulebook is, in my honest opinion, more useful if you're playing like a very advanced, very like full-on game and you want to find like a specific niche rule. But for the general rules of the game, you can find all of them in these books, and they are very, very helpful. Like here's the references page, which is one that's going to be very handy. So if I just take you through these, there's the combat round sequence, which is obviously very helpful, especially for new players. There's the diagrams of all the cones and the shapes for spell effects and that kind of thing. They talk about flanking. And then they list all the combat actions, which is like incredibly useful, and especially for new players, quite complicated. Can I move and draw a weapon? Can I move and attack? Can I charge and then move? All that sort of thing. So, I mean, this page is worth photocopying and actually just giving a copy to each of your players because it is that useful. What else do we have here? On the other side, we've got a set of common skilled difficulty challenge, or DC. Yeah, like the difficulty ratings. So here you've got DC 5, DC 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30. So that's also incredibly useful when you're GMing, because it's all on one page. That's the thing, is a lot of the time in the core rulebook you'll have like your acrobatics skill on a page, and then there'll be a list of DCs for that. But and generally you're going to be flipping backwards and forwards between the skills trying to find the appropriate DC, and it's all right here. So that's very cool. This is awesome. Let me show you this. Is that included in here they have a section called Sandpoint. Now Sandpoint is kind of like a mini campaign setting, in that it's got a map, there's a little bit of lore, a bit of a history, talks about the population, about sort of the shopping, healing magic items, And here, this sort of ties into the quest that's included in the book. But there's also here ideas for additional quests. I mean, this really sets up a world for you so that you can just kind of get adventuring straight away. So that's fantastic. Nice map and everything. Now this is awesome. And let me show you why. I'm going to flip through a little bit now. And I know, sorry, this video is a little bit long, but this is really aimed at more sort of the Pathfinder players. But this section, which is completely missing in the core rulebook itself, a section of monsters. Now, I don't know how many exactly we have here, but they all have their little diagrams, just like I imagine they would be in the bestiary. I haven't got the bestiary yet because I can't actually afford it at the moment, if I'm perfectly honest. But if anyone wants to send me a copy, I would be eternally grateful. So you've got all different kinds of monsters here, from CR, a third CR up to, I think, about, here we got 4, 5, I think it goes up to about, there's a 7. Yeah, so I mean, there's enough here. I mean, there's lots and lots and lots of pages of monsters. So you can really sort of use all of this to build your campaign. And what's nice is they're also categorized here in terms of dungeon monsters, forest monsters, swamp, mountain, desert, and city. So that's really, really great. There's also lots of nice equipment. So the Game Master's Guide really does give you a lot of great sort of tools at your fingertips for building an adventure and setting up challenges for your party. So that's great. In addition to that, one of the big investments that you're going to make in a game like Pathfinder, because it is not a theater of the mind game, it's quite tactical, grid-based, that sort of thing, are these. And the more I think about it, the more I'm so happy that I bought this box, if for no other reason than these. Okay, they're not as nice as miniatures, sure, but they are all the monsters that are represented in the book, and there's male and female versions of every class and race combination, along with the stands. So you can get straight into the miniatures aspect of it using these little standees, and that's really, really helpful. Very, very nice. I'm going to quickly skip over the character sheets because that's not really too important. But yeah, some character sheets. But you know this, if you want to see in more detail what is in the box, have a look at the unboxing video I did. I post a link down below. Transition guide, that's just the guide for transitioning into the core rules if you're into that. And I want to look at the Hero's Handbook because this is also very, very useful. It has a combat reference in the back, which is great for players. So you have all your sort of, these are the basics. How you make a melee attack, a ranged attack, saving throw, skill check. How does flanking work? How does cover work? Combat reference guide. So this is great to make photocopies of and give to your players. You know what, it just makes a lot of sense to have this. Even if you have the core rulebook, have a set of this, just leave it around on the table so the players can quickly leave it this side facing up so the players can go, oh, how does combat work again? Cool, is anyone surprised? Da, 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 da. Very, very useful. So in addition to all those amazing references, having a bestiary, having those miniature standees, and having a playmat, this box pays for itself in spades. And even if you are a sort of a seasoned Pathfinder player, I think that there's a lot of value to be had in here. So that's why, now that I've had some time to think about it, so I'm just grabbing all my junk off the floor. Now that I've had some time to think about it, I really do think that as a role-playing game product, you can't do much better than buying the Pathfinder beginner box. I saw a video recently of the Dungeons & Dragons beginner box, and I thought, really? Paizo set the bar pretty high. And it's a great, great product, and I highly recommend that if you're interested in Pathfinder or any fantasy role-playing game, there'll be enough in this box for you that it'll definitely be worth the money. So that is my thoughts video for today. I don't really know how to categorize this video, but it's good to be back. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, have lots of fun rolling nice and high, and until next time, bye-bye.